I'm Libby Gibson, Town Manager. Welcome to What's Going On in Town Government. I brought myself under control. We had public hearing Wednesday last night, which means that we had a lot of public hearings. And we're trying a new thing at the board meeting where I give the board a list of all the public hearings with a kind of a summary of the ones that are totally in order, no controversy, fine to be approved, no staff issues. And then there's usually a couple that might have some kind of an issue. So we had a couple that were an issue last night. We had some telephone petitions, all of which related to town projects. We had a new entertainment license application for Arno's on Main Street. Now this got tricky because they wanted something a little bit different than they've had in the past. They have a current entertainment license for live entertainment, but now they wanted it amplified. And it turns out that amplifying it triggers a state requirement for a sprinkler system and some other fire code requirements, because it turns it into the category of a nightclub.
I see.
This all stems from the nightclub fire in Rhode Island. So it turned out, though, that their license that they've had listed live entertainment on it. So there was a little bit of confusion as to why they hadn't been made to comply previously. So it was unclear about that, but regardless, what we were hearing from the fire department was probably they shouldn't have been doing that. And apparently it was on there, but they didn't really do it very much, have this live entertainment. So the board downgraded the license back to in-house music. So CD, radio, iPod, some TVs, and that's it.
So does that mean that Todd will not be spinning disco music?
That does mean that. I know you were looking forward to that, but
I think he was planning on building a nice DJ booth high and then him in the back there.
Not going to happen. Unless the sprinkler system gets installed, in which case then it could happen.
Okay.
But the board has to approve it too. So that was controversy number one. Controversy number two had to do with a new category of liquor license that we haven't had before here, but which is fairly common off island. It's called a general on-premise license, and it is geared towards theater-like operations. So at a play, you might be able to get a drink or a concert or some kind of exhibition, something like that. This was for Theater Workshop at Bennett Hall, and there were some neighbors who came in and were very concerned about noise, and they didn't like the whole idea of it being so close to a church, and they wished that they had been contacted ahead of time by the applicant a little bit more to explain things. Now they have been getting what's called a one-day pouring license in the past for specific events, but you can only get up to 30 of those a year. So they wanted to have a license in place so they didn't have to
They need more than
worry
30
about
a
that.
day? 30 a year?
Apparently.
All right.
So to make a long story short on that, the board denied that license. So it did not proceed.
So now they go back to their 30 a year?
Now they're going to go, I guess so, although what we heard from our business license agent was there's possibly an issue with that, so she's going to look into it.
Oh.
We also heard from our department, our Director of Culture and Tourism, Melissa Murphy, who spoke about the Nantucket Cultural District, which has been established and is getting active, and you can read all about that online. It's very interesting. A lot of towns, not a lot, 30 or so, I think she said, 30 or 40 towns in Massachusetts have a cultural district designation. So we're now one of them, and it's supposed to bring in some economic benefit and some cultural benefit to visitors and residents.
The economic comes from the state?
The economic comes from drawing people to the island to participate in the cultural aspect of things, like exhibits and shows and festivals and things like that.
Okay.
I mean, we have some of that now.
That's what I mean.
But it's nice because since we already have some of that, it's incorporated into the district. And so we have a little bit of a leg up because we already are doing some of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And there is the potential for some state funding to assist with, I think, things like public outreach, advertising,
It doesn't cost
stuff like
us
that.
anything, though,
No,
does it, Libby?
no, it does not cost us anything, no. It's supposed to be a good thing, and it sounds very interesting and good. She also talked about a new program that is being launched this summer called the Ambassador Program. online information, but the idea behind it is that volunteers are given a shirt and a hat, and you basically walk around town or wherever you would like and help people, visitors. So for example, you might see people standing on a street corner looking at a map and looking around, you're not sure where they are. The ambassadors would go up to them and ask if they need help and direct them that way. Maybe they'd kind of hang around a little bit by the boats. Maybe they'd go out of town a little bit to one of the bike paths. But the busy-ish places, if they see somebody riding their bike on the sidewalk, they're not enforcement agents, but if the opportunity arose, they could possibly say, excuse me, but we don't ride bikes on sidewalks here. Actually, they probably won't be doing something like that, so forget that I said that.
That's a good idea.
But yeah, it depends on who the ambassador is.
I got a major question though.
Yes, Gina.
What do the uniforms look like?
Well, I voted for pink, but I think they're blue.
Okay.
It's just a T-shirt and a hat. And
Oh, it is?
they're blue.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a full-blown
Okay,
uniform. It's a T-shirt and a hat.
Got it.
And you sign up at Visitor Services.
Like
It's
a
not,
ball cap?
Yeah, baseball hat.
Okay.
It's very cool.
Cool.
You don't get paid. It's volunteer entirely. And one of the benefits is for students who could get community service credits for doing this. So that's going to be helpful to them.
Nice. Yeah, sure.
I think I'm going to do it possibly with Janet Schulte, the director of the Chamber of Commerce.
Oh,
We
good.
agreed that we would do it together.
Maybe
a few
I'll follow
times.
you guys around.
You should follow us around.
Would you like that?
We'd love that.
Done.
That'd be cool. Or some students,
Yeah, either way.
Janet and I don't know that
It'd be
much.
fun to see you doing that though, Libby, with the hat
It's fun.
on
I
and-
love doing that stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's going to get underway very shortly. 4th of July, she gave an update about that as well. 4th of July fireworks, remember, are not going to be on the 4th of July. They're going to be on the 3rd of July, which is Sunday. Monday, all of the usual Main Street events will be happening on the 4th. The Firecracker 5K road race, which usually takes place on July 4th, will be taking place on Saturday the 2nd, 1 hour earlier at 7 a.m. So if you're coming from out of town in that area, be alert to it because it does block up the rotary for a good hour. And if you're trying to get to the boat or the airport or something like that, you might have some trouble. They're going to put a sign out, and that big electronic sign, a couple days ahead of time reminding people. So be on the lookout for that. And what else did the board do? They had a continuation of a discussion about strategic planning, which they had begun last week, I think. And that's going to continue on. Next week is Real Estate Wednesday. We have a number of real estate items. We also have our first public hearing for committee appointments. So committee applications. So if people are applying to be on a board, committee, or commission, this is the first public hearing for the board to have you tell about yourself and why you'd like to be on the group. We're also going to get an update about beach prep for 2016, the upcoming season, from DPW, Marine, and Natural Resources, and maybe somebody else, I forget. And they're just going to be talking about what we're all doing to get ready for the season. And we're going to also discuss the Transportation Improvement Plan program. This is an annual discussion that the board has with the transportation planner, and the idea is that the board gives its input on projects that are then put into the plan, which is then given to the state, and the state incorporates all of the plans in the state, there are many, into its funding allocations for future years.
So what could that mean for us?
Well, for example, it could mean something like, what project was in the TIP before? The Fairgrounds Road Bike Path was in the TIP before, and we got some state funding for that. The Old South Road Bike Path, actually, we may have ended up funding that ourselves, but there may have been a little bit of state funding. Pulpus had some state funding. It's been a lot of bike paths in the past, but I think the board's focus is on getting bikes and pedestrians in and out of town. Obviously, that's not that easy, and so we're going to be
All right.
focusing on that.
I got a question for you. Now,
Yes.
you've got this building across the street, right?
17 Broad?
Okay, and you've got the
Theater.
theater that's going up.
Yep.
Traffic around town in general is enormous. There's so many workers here.
Yes.
What's the deal on, these projects don't look like they're going to be done for summer, are they? How long can they work till? The people are working about
Okay, that's a good question. Now, I'm
Because,
not.
that affects, the amount of workers that we have on the
Yeah.
island right now affects the seasonal people that are coming, because traffic, if
Right.
they're here and they're there.
Well, on
it's-
June 1st, traffic parking restrictions go into effect.
All
So
right.
they are going to be affected by that. And some of these groups have restrictions on their special permits from the Zoning Board of Appeals and/or the Planning Board as to what they can and can't do between certain periods of time. Now, I haven't looked at that lately. Other people in my office are dealing with that. But there are restrictions for outside work, for example.
Right.
And they're may be running up against that. I mean, this group is here all the time. They're here on weekends doing stuff over there because they're really trying to get it done.
I guess. You think they're gonna be done?
I have no idea, Gino.
All right.
I don't know. I would hope so, but who knows?
Right. And by, you're saying done,
Like open.
yeah, but you
I
can't
don't
work
know.
through July, can you?
No. Well, they could do interior work, but
Interior.
I don't believe they are allowed to do exterior
Yeah,
work
yeah.
in accordance with their permit.
Right, right.
So,
Okay.
yes, that's going to be interesting.
Okay.
What else is
I don't
going
know.
on? Okay, so Wine Festival, big weekend
Oh, yeah.
coming up, and then Memorial Day. And then, is there a bit of a lull?
Yeah.
I hear there's a lull.
There is.
There's something of a lull, but then it sort of steadily comes back
We got the
mid-June.
film fest, right?
Oh, yeah, Film Festival, when is that? Mid to end of June, so
Yeah.
that picks things up probably, and then we get right into the 4th of July,
And
I
then
know.
we have our 2 months of craziness.
and then summer's over.
And
I
then we have
hate it when summer's over.
I do too. God, it's just too short.
I know, it is, and it's gonna be a great weekend, hopefully.
It's
gonna
supposed to be a very
warm.
hot summer, Libby.
Is it?
That's what I read. Yeah.
Did you read that
Hot
in
and dry.
Farmer's Almanac? 'Cause
You
one
know,
time-
the weather people.
One time the Farmer's Almanac said, it was like, I think they said this winter was gonna be really super bad, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you want a hot, dry summer?
I like hot and dry on Saturday and Sunday. I don't mind if it rains Monday through Friday.
Okay, yeah.
No, of course I do, because
Sure.
that would be bad for the visitors.
Yeah.
But I really do like it when it's a nice weekend.
I like it nice and hot.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so that's it. Thanks very much. See you next time.